Hey guys, we're back. So in this video I will only be talking about my time in the psychiatric facility. If you want to know more behind my mental health story and how I wound up being admitted into the psychiatric facility, the link to my mental health story post will be below. So just so you can get a bit of an inside scoop of the reason why I am making a video around my time in the ward. But yes, anyway, so I was in Waitakere Hospital for 5 days. I remember the night I went in, I was taken by 2 older women, and once we arrived, first I was a bit anxious because walking in there, it's like, well, shit, what does this mean for me now that I've just been admitted into a psychiatric ward along with people that have mental health issues that are way more severe than mine. I don't know, just at the time it just felt so overwhelming. But anyway, we walked up to the door and we had to press a buzzer to be let in. As soon as we were let in, I was introduced to a nurse and she took me into a private room just to ask a few questions before, I don't know, just to get me settled in and stuff. Basically we sat in the room and she asked me a bunch of questions, basically just my name, my age, how I attempted suicide, medication that I'm on, kind of thing. So yeah, that happened, and then after I was assessed, I was shown to my room. Not a very exciting view. Walk in, and my room consisted of metal bed frame chained to the wall with a standard single bed mattress, one mattress cover, one thin bed sheet, and a cotton blanket, blue cotton blanket, whatever. And on top of the bed was a pillow made of God knows what, some weird, annoyingly sounded plastic with a pillow slip over the top. Wooden shelves, a wooden desk, and a picture that I assume a previous patient had drawn and stuck on the wall. There weren't any objects that you could physically take off the wall or use to hurt yourself in a way. However, even though I was deemed suicidal, I was still allowed my phone cords, which I thought was odd. I had access to razor blades and sharp plastic combs. Basically, all you had to do was walk up to the front desk and ask, and they would give them right to you. You could even ask for a hairdryer if you really wanted. My first night in there, one of my friends come to visit me, which was nice because obviously, I don't know, it was, again, as I said, very overwhelming to be in there, especially by myself, not knowing anybody in there, and also being the youngest in the ward. I believe I was the youngest in there by at least 20 to 25 years. So, you know, I was told that I was placed into this ward. So I was placed in 9B. So I was told that I was placed into 9B, which is Ward B is a 17-bed locked unit in the hospital. So basically it's a ward that you're admitted to if you are deemed as basically unfit to be under care in a less restricted unit or ward, or even maybe of harm to yourself out in the community, if that, I don't know if that makes sense, but yeah. A nurse was assigned to me every day. One would come into my room at 8 AM and 8 PM every night to give me my medication. Throughout my time in there, I started feeling very, actually quite anxious, and started having many panic attacks. So they prescribed me this medication over the course of while I was there to prevent, I don't know, just to help with the anxiousness, but really all it made me feel was very nauseous and very drowsy. And I don't know if this sounds weird, but it was like I was made to feel the way a psychiatric patient is portrayed in the movies. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's how I felt. The real thing that kept me, I don't know, going or kept me occupied while I was in there was this one song that I would always listen to. Well, I had two songs I listened to while I was in there. Links to them will be below, but I don't know, when you're by yourself you don't really have much to do, so I listened to music a lot. Also tried not to think a lot about the things that had been going on over the past couple of days, but you know, it's easier said than done, to be honest. Like, I don't think anyone can really look back on a situation like that and feel okay about it. I had an indoor lock on my bedroom door. However, if staff wanted to get in, they were able to disarm it from the outside. And one day I had one of the staff want to come in, so they unlocked the door. So by the way, they can come in at any time. They don't care if you're naked, they don't care if you're still asleep, they don't care if you're busy. They will come in regardless. They don't need your permission to come into your room. They have every right to come into your room, like, at any point in time. But yeah, my lock was actually disarmed for the duration of my stay in there. So basically, if a patient were to go roaming at night while I was asleep, they were able to come into my room at any time, and I wouldn't know. There were a few nights I did have trouble sleeping because quite a few of the patients down the hall were easily irritated. I remember one night, not going to disclose any names, but there was a patient who had decided they weren't very tired, and I looked out my bedroom window because I have a wee peephole out my door, and there was a patient who was causing a bit of a ruckus out down the hall in their room. And basically I turned and had a wee look and saw that they had actually stripped down and were butt naked, banging on their bedroom door, screaming, "I want to be let out, I want to be let out." And then the staff would come along and be like, "Come on now, get back into bed, you know the rules, blah blah blah," and they'd just keep screaming and screaming and screaming. And at the time, for me, this was kind of scary because I'd never witnessed this before. This isn't something that I've witnessed on the outside. Like, you never really understand to the full extent of how bad a mental illness can affect someone until you experience it firsthand and you're there watching it happen. But yeah, that happened, and then the next day I woke up and all of a sudden the same person is awake, coming out of their room, and they're completely fine, as if nothing had even happened the during the night. At first I was kind of scared to tell my friends that I was in mockery because I didn't really know how they would react when they found out that I was in there. Because I guess, you know, there's still the whole thing about, you know, the stereotypes around psychiatric hospitals and being a patient in a psychiatric ward with mental people, because I feel like once you're placed into an environment like that, you're given a label or you're branded as something to fit a type of group, and I guess I was just scared that I would be seen as that mental person or crazy person that people knew. Once I told all my friends and my family, they were pretty understanding about it all. They were very caring. They didn't ask too many questions. They just, you know, wanted to know if I was okay. And it was really nice to see how much love people had for me, I guess. Because, like, it's one thing saying those things, but then it's another thing also, I don't know, having someone show it.